I'm not retired yet, my friend. No, no, they can say whatever they want, but it's not that easy. One fight, don't put in that position. You need to do a lot of things.
Canelo Alvarez thinks you're not a 54 pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too.
That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful. I let my hands go. He either grab me or move.
Terence Crawford is never one to shy away from speaking his mind, and his recent comments about Canelo Alvarez are a clear reflection of his no-nonsense attitude. In response to being placed on the undercard of Canelo's next fight, Crawford didn't hold back, claiming that Canelo's name is declining in the sport. This isn't a distant issue either. It's unfolding in real time, and highlights both the shifting landscape of boxing and the growing tension between these two fighters.
Great. We all know we all know he's strong. He got good timing. He got good punching power. He moves his head well. Good counter puncher. We all know all that things about Canelo, but we never seen Terence Crawford at once yet. So we don't know. We don't know if Terence Crawford can take his punch. We don't know if Canelo is going to be able to box,
The story goes like this. Crawford's rematch with Errol Spence Jr., one of the most highly anticipated fights in the welterweight division, may have been scheduled for the undercard of Canelo Alvarez's upcoming bout. This decision sparked confusion and outrage among fans. Why would one of the best fighters in the world, a man who dominated Spence in their first meeting, be relegated to a secondary role? The answer lies in the numbers. Despite Canelo's legacy as one of boxing's most accomplished fighters, his recent pay-per-view sales and ticket numbers have been underwhelming. His last few fights, especially against Gennady Golovkin and Dmitry Bivol, failed to deliver, in terms of both excitement and drawing power. Now, to make matters worse, Crawford's rematch with Spence, arguably the real main event, is being overshadowed and buried beneath Canelo's name. And yet, it could actually happen.
It could happen. Why not, Why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, so I'm with it. So, I'll be going for Bud, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can put it off, he can put it off.
For his part, isn't one to stay silent in the face of disrespect. His statement calling out Canelo wasn't just a personal jab, it was a reminder that the landscape of boxing has shifted. In Crawford's eyes, it's not Canelo but himself who has truly dominated the welterweight division, especially after dismantling Errol Spence Jr. in a fight that solidified his status as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in the world.
Canelo, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud Dreamer fight, making it a 50-50 fight? Wow.
And yet, Crawford has been placed on the undercard, forced to share the spotlight with a fighter whose recent form has come under scrutiny. His blunt comment about ticket sales being dead was a sharp reflection of the growing reality that, while Canelo's name still holds weight in the boxing world, it no longer draws fans like it once did. Attendance and interest have noticeably declined, and that's become hard to ignore. As a fiercely competitive fighter, Crawford couldn't let this slide without speaking up. The tension between these two men goes beyond pay-per-view scheduling. It's a battle for legacy and their rightful place in boxing history.
I want to see knockouts. I'm from a different time in this sport when fighters went to war in the ring. We wanted to destroy our opponents. I still took the Pacquiao fight knowing my body was broken and old and I couldn't beat him. But I was a warrior. I wanted to be a legend. It's a different mentality, a champion's mentality. Canelo wants to get paid. He avoids Benavidez and Bivol, who schooled him just like Mayweather. He wants to cruise easily into retirement.
Canelo, once seemed invincible, has started to show signs of vulnerability. His loss to Dmitry Bivol exposed cracks in his armor, and his decision to remain at super middleweight instead of pursuing a rematch at light heavyweight raised more than a few eyebrows. What was once seen as an unstoppable reign is now increasingly viewed as a string of opportunistic moves, with the lure of massive paydays often overshadowing the quality of his performances. His inability to secure the big fights, particularly the long-anticipated matchup with Crawford, or even one with David Benavidez, has only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, Crawford has continued to dominate, with his knockout win over Spence, further cementing his claim as the best fighter in the sport.
I got the speed over. I got the reach over. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
So would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out.
Yeah.
From Kirkland to Amir Khan. He's just
Don't do
obviously.
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not Kovalev.
Kovalev is older.
And
He does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power. But all those guys that you name is not as skillful as
But the heat doesn't end there. Recently, Turki Al-Sheikh, a powerful figure in the Saudi sports scene, revealed that even bigger fights could be on the horizon for both Crawford and Canelo. Al-Sheikh, known for his major role in the rise of combat sports in the Middle East, hinted that both men might be part of a blockbuster boxing event that would far exceed the scale of their current bout. This revelation adds yet another layer to the unfolding drama. Could Crawford's rematch with Spence simply be a stepping stone toward greater opportunities in Saudi Arabia? And is Canelo now playing the role of the aging champion, relying on rising stars like Crawford to keep the spotlight shining on him? This isn't just about Canelo's fading star power, it's about the future of boxing and the shifting dynamics within the sport. The rise of new stars like Crawford, who refuses to conform to the traditional rules of promotion, signals a challenge to the old guard. While the heavyweight division is once again buzzing with excitement, the same energy is now flowing through the smaller weight classes. Crawford, with his elite skill set and fearless approach to fighting the best, is paving a new path, one that could redefine what it means to be the top fighter in the world. His boldness in calling out Canelo for weak ticket sales only reinforces that he's not here to play second fiddle to anyone. He's here to claim the throne, and he's not waiting.
Canelo, would you ever entertain fight with it?
Benavidez is a big dude. Not to say I won't fight him, but the only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, you know what I mean, but he's not a big dude. Benavidez is like 6 foot something, come in 190, 200 probably, you know what I mean? I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight him.
Canelo, meanwhile, is facing the reality of his career. For years, he was the undisputed king of boxing, the face of the sport that everyone looked to. But in 2023, that narrative began to crack. Doubts about his ability to perform at the highest level have continued to grow, and his increasing reliance on other big names to sell his events only reinforces those concerns. In contrast, Crawford is at the peak of his powers. His dominant win over Spence was a defining moment in boxing, leaving little room for debate about his greatness. Yet, despite that, he finds himself placed on the undercard of a fighter who, in his eyes, is no longer the top draw he once was. And this sentiment isn't exclusive to Crawford. Even David Benavidez believes Canelo is overhyped.
Division. I'm number one in the division, number one contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion and have all these belts if he doesn't fight the number one or the number two guys? He's asking $200 million. Why, when they bring my name up with him?
Canelo Alvarez once again has the boxing world buzzing. But this time, it's not about a sanctioning body or a controversial scorecard. It's about whether he can survive, or even thrive, in the land of giants. Fresh footage has surfaced, showing the Mexican superstar sparring with undefeated heavyweight contender Frank Sanchez. And it's already sending shockwaves through the sport. For those who've followed Canelo's climb from 147 to 175 pounds, this development shouldn't come as a complete surprise. The man who began his legacy in the welterweight division has never been one to respect.
He's a hell of a fighter. But my personal opinion, he's definitely going to, you know, this is my personal opinion. And I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's what it is. He's going up to cruiser, and I'm not knocking him, but he's going up to cruiserweight. And that same guy with that, he used to be at the Mayweather boxing gym. You guys get really get the best.
Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight to win a world title, and at one point even had plans to challenge cruiserweight Ilunga Makabu. a request the WBC shockingly approved in 2021. It seemed absurd at the time, and to many, it still does. But Canelo simply doesn't care. Now, with footage of him moving around the ring against a 6'4", 220-pound heavyweight like Frank Sanchez, those seemingly outlandish ideas are bubbling back to the surface.
Canelo facing the elite boxer, he arguably lost.
Hey,
Danny Jacobs?
arguably doesn't matter.
Jacobs is not elite.
What?
Stop.
What?
This dude is funny.
Stop.
Totally.
Maybe he needs to Google the scorecards on the Triple G
The
fight.
footage isn't exactly violent. It's not like Sanchez was trying to flatten him. But even in light sparring, Canelo's confidence and movement speak volumes. He's short, sure, and much smaller in mass, but he's not intimidated. This isn't some gym myth either. His trainer, Eddie Reynoso, spoke plainly to ESPN, saying, "I know what he has done with the heavyweights he spars with, and that's why we asked for the fight." The fight Reynoso refers to may not be one they truly expected to materialize. The cruiserweight bout with Makabu was never finalized. And now that Makabu has lost his title to Badu Jack, the same Jack who infamously punched 2 referees in separate fights, that entire route seems dead in the water. Still, it's no longer far-fetched to imagine Canelo flirting with the idea of a heavyweight title shot down the road, even if only as a historical gimmick.